Back to school time. We're basically 2 days through NBA free agency, and it's time to reflect on some moves that teams made, including some trades, signings. We'll have it all and give out some grades on the first 2 days. This is why you should subscribe to the channel, though, because we're going to have the latest NBA news, rumors on everything you need this offseason. And as we continue this week in free agency, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be live on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as well. Even on holiday, we're still going to be live. All right, the first team that we'll talk about, we'll go in alphabetical order here, is the Atlanta Hawks. I give them so far a C. Why, you might ask? Well, one, they haven't even made a signing, so they've been very boring. But on a grander scale, they did make a massive trade. They traded away DeJounte Murray to the New Orleans Pelicans for Larry Nance Jr., Dyson Daniels, E.J. Liddell, and 2 first-round picks. The reason why I grade this at a C is I thought they could have got more for DeJounte Murray from a team like Miami, from a team like Los Angeles. Like, maybe they're not calling, but I'm just not high on Dyson Daniels. The other 2 players are non-starters, so only getting 2 first-round picks for DeJounte Murray feels a little bit weak. The Boston Celtics, I'll give them a grade of a C+, and maybe I should have given this a little bit of a higher grade, but nah, F the Celtics. Luke Cornett and Neemias Queta are really non-starters, really just bringing them back. They're not really big-time pieces of that team anyway, but they did make pretty big extensions. Derek White, 4-year, $126 million, basically, and then Jayson Tatum, the new highest-paid player in the NBA, but that'll be top next year when Luka Doncic signs a 5-year, $346 million contract, I'm pretty sure. But they keep Derek White and Tatum around long-term. Also, in 25 and 26, expect to have a tax bill of $400 million. Uh-oh, that's going to be tough to pay. Brooklyn Nets come in with a C+ here. Brooklyn, not really the most aggressive team thus far in free agency. The only thing that they have done is re-sign Nic Claxton in a 4-year, $100 million deal. It's good that they kept Claxton, but a team that's not competing at all right now. They obviously traded away Mikal Bridges as well. They did get a pretty good haul back for him, 5 obviously first-round picks, but Claxton making their only move in free agency, C+. Charlotte Hornets get a B-. They haven't really made a signing to my knowledge either, but they have made a couple trades. They got today Josh Green in that deal of Klay Thompson heading to the Mavericks, and we don't know what the Warriors are getting yet, but either way, the Hornets sent 2 first-round picks for Josh Green. Decent young guy, making $13 million a year, worth 2 second-round picks. Also got Reggie Jackson via trade as well, so Charlotte making some moves. The Chicago Bulls, I give them a B. I actually like one of their signings so far. When they got Jalen Smith this morning at 3 years for $27 million, I thought that was really good value for a forward/center that was kind of buried on that Pacers depth chart. He was pretty dang effective shooting the 3-ball, can also do some nice things inside, rim protect. Former first-round pick out of Maryland. By the way, that Maryland team was robbed of a chance to make a deep run in March Madness during that COVID season in 2020. That team was really, really good, folks. They also had Aaron Wiggins, really good ball club. But Patrick Williams, a little bit of an overpay, if you ask me. Torrey Craig coming back is what it is. Cleveland Cavaliers, D-. Why, you might ask? Well, they have yet to get an extension commitment from Donovan Mitchell, and as every single minute passes, I would get more and more skeptical if I was a Cleveland Cavaliers fan. So that reason, you haven't got an extension commitment yet? I would be scared, D-. Shout out your team and give your grade on their free agency so far, A, B, C, or D, or F. I'm giving grades for every team, but I want to know your team and your grade. Dallas Mavericks, B+. They've had quite the free agency so far. They lost Derrick Jones Jr., but they get Quentin Grimes via trade in that Tim Hardaway deal as well. And then they signed Najee Marshall late last night. And then the headliner, signing Klay Thompson via sign trade. Not official as of yet. Still have to iron out some details with the Golden State Warriors. But adding Marshall in replacement of Derrick Jones Jr. is actually an upgrade in my opinion. I think he fits better because of his ability to shoot the 3-ball in Dallas. Klay Thompson being an upgrade over Tim Hardaway Jr. And then Quentin Grimes is on par or at least the same level as Josh Green. So to me, the reigning Western Conference champions have gotten a little bit better. Will they get over the hump? I don't know, but they have at least improved their team. Denver Nuggets, D-. Damn near close to an F, but I'm not willing to go there just yet because I do like the selection of Duron Holmes in free agency. But the reason why I give them a D-, not who they signed in DeAndre Jordan coming back on a one-year deal, but losing Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. They were a loser on our day one winners and losers video because of losing KCP. When you parlay KCP leaving with Bruce Brown leaving a year ago as well in free agency, that's back-to-back contributing pieces to their championship off this roster now 2 years removed. They need to replace those guys, and Christian Brown and Peyton Watson just simply have not been able to prove they can do that. Detroit Pistons, they get a B. I really like the extension of Cade Cunningham. That's really the only thing they've done, but they also did trade Quentin Grimes and 3 second-round picks to get Tim Hardaway Jr. The reason why this is intriguing to me is because, well, you get a guy like Tim Hardaway to kind of take some shots. You also get a salary cap relief after this upcoming year. They also got Tobias Harris this morning. Like, they're adding scoring around Cade Cunningham, and if you watch the Detroit Pistons at all last year, you know they need more scoring around Cade, so they're getting it with a couple of these moves. Golden State Warriors, I give them a B-. Obviously, losing Klay Thompson isn't great, but their cap situation is pretty good right now after waiving Chris Paul as well. They're going to get something in return for Klay. Don't know exactly what it is as of now, but at least they're getting something. They're getting more back for Klay Thompson than the Clippers did for Paul George. But I do actually like the signing of DeAnthony Melton on this 1 year, $12.8 million, which is basically the full mid-level exception. I think Melton's a really solid backup guard that can be behind Curry as well as play with him in some lineups as well. I think the guard rotation of Curry, Podziemski, and Melton is a pretty solid one. Houston Rockets have really yet to make a move thus far other than re-signing Aaron Holiday and bringing back Jayson Tatum as well. The Holiday signing is a little bit confusing to me because I said this on our live show. Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green, 3rd overall pick, Reed Shepard, Amen Thompson. Those are 4 guards that I just mentioned before we even get to Aaron Holiday. Is this really a team that's going 5 deep in their guard depth? I'm not so sure about that. Don't really understand bringing Holiday back, but they give him for the biannual. Make sure you hit that sub button. As I mentioned, we are going to be live for the next 3 days here on the channel, breaking down everything in free agency. There are still some solid free agents available. DeMar DeRozan watch, some high-level role players as well. Make sure you join us and subscribe for nonstop coverage of the NBA offseason. Indiana Pacers get a B- grade from your boy, and I think they just have done what they needed to do. They haven't gone out and added anyone yet. Keep your eye on maybe Caleb Martin, but they do need to extend Andrew Nembhard and TJ McConnell. But making sure they keep Pascal Siakam long-term, as well as extending Obi Toppin on $15 million per year, I think is a good move. Obi Toppin might be a little bit overpaid in comparison like a Derrick Jones Jr. and Royce O'Neal, who got 10 and 11 respectively. But these guys are building blocks for them. They're keeping their guys. Los Angeles Clippers, only team to get a failing grade. And you might say, how are the Clippers getting a failing grade? They got James Harden back. They got Nick Batum. They got Derrick Jones Jr. To me, I was giving them an F no matter what because you lost Paul George for nothing. I don't know if it's spite. I don't know if it's pettiness. I don't know what you want to call it. But not getting anything in return for Paul George is a monumental mistake. You could have worked with him to have him opt in and then trade him to Golden State. And I understand you might not have wanted to give him to the Warriors because they're a rival. You don't want to bring him to them. But it beats getting absolutely nothing. You got to think of yourself first. Like, what are we doing here? Why are you passing up on getting something back for Paul George? I also don't like PJ Tucker and Russ opting in. The rumors are that they're going to try to deal both of them. We'll see if they get a deal done. Watch out for the Nuggets for Russell Westbrook. I don't like bringing Kevin Porter Jr. back. Don't think he's a good person. Don't think he should be in the league. It is what it is. Happens all the time. Miles Bridges too. Unfortunately, the NBA allows it, so these guys are going to continue to come back in the league. These signings are okay. Derrick Jones Jr. and Nick Batum, but you lose Paul George for nothing when you could have got something. Terrible. I lied, I guess. I'm giving both the Los Angeles teams a grade of F. I forgot I did that. The Lakers have done nothing. They miss out on Klay Thompson, allegedly offering a 4-year, $80 million deal, which, by the way, is absolutely outrageous. They offer that in their own outright. but they missed out on him. How cooked do you have to be to lose out on Klay Thompson at this stage of his career when you offered significantly more money on one more added year? Oh boy, Rob Pelinka, what's going on in LAL, baby? But D'Lo opting back in, not great. They're in the lookout to trade him. And I don't like the Max Christie deal either. Honestly, the Lakers are in shambles. Unless they make a big-time trade, I think they're going to be stuck in mediocrity with LeBron and Anthony Davis. Don't know why I spaced on the unibrow. Memphis Grizzlies get a C-. They haven't really done much either. I don't know. I feel like they could be a team that comes on as of late. Like maybe they add a Caleb Martin of some sorts or something like that. But other than that, they've been pretty underwhelming in free agency. Same thing gets said about the Miami Heat. They get a D+. I don't know what Pat Riley's doing. I think he's still taking a nap. Kevin Love comes back on a 2-year, $8 million deal. They wanted him back. They got him back. Jay Rich opted in. But outside of that, they've been relatively quiet. They need to upgrade the roster. They're getting lapped in the Eastern Conference. Maybe they're holding out for a potential blockbuster trade, but at least in free agency so far, it's been a disaster. Milwaukee Bucks get a C-. They haven't really done anything either. The only thing they did do is steal DeLon Wright away from Miami, who was on an unrestricted free agent. He was on the vet min last year after being a buyout. This is pretty much the vet min again. I actually like DeLon Wright. I'm a fan. 1 year, $3.3 million. Good point of attack defender coming off the bench. Probably their Patrick Beverley replacement, as they're not going to re-sign him. I think the DeLon Wright signing is a decent move, but that roster is still in a bad way. C-. Timberwolves. Now, if we counted their draft grade, they would be getting a higher grade than this because they were terrific in the NBA draft. But when you just factor in free agency, all they have done is bring back Luka Garza, who doesn't even play for them on a 2-year deal. I don't know. I'll give them a C-. Maybe they've got some moves out there, but they got to shed some salary if they're asking me. One of the highest paid teams that they have, or at least roster teams in the NBA. New Orleans Pelicans, I'll give them a B+. They haven't made a signing. They lost Jonas Valanciunas in free agency, but what they did do is acquire DeJounte Murray. And like I said when we were talking about the Hawks, I don't think that package is really worth anything. I'm out on Dyson Daniels and only offering 2 firsts for DeJounte Murray. I'm in. Think about this. The Hawks traded for him and traded 3 firsts to get him from San Antonio 2 seasons ago. Did he really devalue himself that much in 2 seasons? I don't think so. So getting him for 2 firsts, pretty good deal if you're New Orleans. New York Knicks free agency grade is a C-. They re-signed OG Anunoby, which is massive, but they also lost Isaiah Hartenstein to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They just were never able to pay what the Thunder were offering for Hartenstein, and you can't blame iHart for taking that contract on one of the best teams in the Western Conference to get paid that much. Good deal for Hart, good deal for the Oklahoma City Thunder, but unfortunately leaves the Knicks a center short in free agency. OKC, on the flip side, they get Isaiah Hartenstein, so they get an A- grade from me. But that's not the only move they made. They re-signed Aaron Wiggins, who I mentioned earlier as a really good player on that Maryland team with Jalen Smith. Isaiah Joe, one of the best sharpshooters in the NBA coming off the bench, stays there on a $12 million per season. I like the 2 re-signings, and bringing in Hartenstein to create a really good front court with Chet Holmgren makes a lot of sense. You could pay him, and then when Chet and Jalen Williams are looking for their extensions in 3 seasons, Hartenstein's money comes off the book. Perfect win-win if you are OKC. Orlando Magic get a B+ grade. They made the biggest move of day one, signing Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to a 3-year, $66 million deal. 2+1 player option for year 3, but you add a much-needed 3-point shooter alongside some defense of help as well. Already a good defensive team last season. They're going to be top 3 this year. They're going to be terrific on that end. And they also bring back Goga Bitadze. Maybe botched that, maybe didn't, but 3-year, $25 million to be their center. They might trade Wendell Carter, and maybe Goga is their starter, but either way, they keep him around. No doubt here, Philadelphia 76ers get A+++. They have had the most fantastic offseason to this point. They bring in Paul George on that blockbuster 4-year, $212 million contract overnight. But they also made some great moves around him that really make this an excellent offseason. Getting Andre Drummond to be the backup to Joel Embiid on a 2-year, $10 million deal is unbelievable. $5 million per for Drummond is a steal. You also get Eric Gordon on the vet min to help Jared McCain off the bench as your 2 lead guards in that department. And you also bring back Kelly Oubre, who I thought was going to get almost the full mid-level on a 2 for $25, 2 for $26 million contract. You get him 2 for 16, that's a steal. And then you also get a no-brainer done. Tyrese Maxey, 5-year, $204 million extension. Makes all the sense in the world. They have just done everything you could possibly do to keep your team afloat and improve. Good job, Daryl Morey. Phoenix Suns get an A- from your guy. They made a lot of minimum moves, but I actually like them. Royce O'Neal back on a 4-year, $44 million deal. Fine by me. They need to keep him as their lead bench guy and lead role player. Mason Plumlee is an upgrade over Drew Eubanks at that center position behind Yusuf Nurkic, which is why I really like that play. Plumlee can play make. He can defend. He can finish around the rim. I think Plumlee's a good addition over Eubanks. A- but have been aggressive if I'm rethinking about this, but spur of the moment, that's what I gave him. Portland Trailblazers, they get a C-. Honest question, before we flash this, have they done anything? Oh, I guess they got Delano Benton back on a team option, but this team stinks. Moving on. Who's next? Sorry, Jack, I put you in a bad spot here. Don't care. Portland Trailblazers stink. Sacramento Kings get a B. Malik Monk re-signing, that's really good. They also bring back Alex Len. I was not expecting them to get Monk back on this team. Thought he was a foregone conclusion to be gone, but they get him back on just under $20 million per season, 19 and change there for Malik Monk. That's a pretty good deal for Sacramento. San Antonio Spurs get a B+ grade. I love the addition of Chris Paul here. Wasn't expecting them to get him, but him being their only free agent signing is quite a shocker. Waived by Golden State, available, is now going to be able to mentor and help the pick and roll with Victor Wembanyama. I think it's a win-win for everyone involved. Toronto Raptors get a C. I just don't like that Emmanuel Quickley deal, man. 5-year for $175 million. Like, I think that's an overpay for Quickley, $35 million per season. Was there a team out there willing to give him $35 million a season? Like, was there? Like, isn't he making more than Jalen Brunson is? Like, what are we doing here? Don't love this move from Toronto. Utah Jazz get a B-. The only thing they've done, I believe, is re-signing, or not re-signing, but bringing in Drew Eubanks on a 2-year, $10 million deal. I like Eubanks. I like Plumlee a little bit better, but Eubanks is now their backup center to Walker Kessler. We'll see if Kessler ends up sticking around. There's rumors that he could be dealt, but Utah bringing him in a decent backup center. Through 2 days, let me know which team had the best free agency so far. There's only one answer, and it pains me to say it, but it is absolutely the Philadelphia 76ers. Next up here, the Washington Wizards get an A- grade. I think the Wizards have just sneakily put together a really good offseason, man. You bring in Jonas Valanciunas as their backup center, or starting center, I should say, to pair up with Alex Len. I don't know why Valanciunas went to Washington, but it's a good deal for the Wizards, getting him $10 million per year. I also kind of maybe thought in my head their draft was included in this grade. Like, I love their draft, so I'm going to continue to say that. Bob Carrington, Keyshawn George, and Alex Sarr. But either way, like what the Wizards have done getting Valanciunas. All right, that's the full grades through 2 days of NBA free agency. We'll be back again tomorrow live, so make sure you join us then, and we'll have continuous coverage on the VOD side too. So get locked in with us here at Chat Sports for the best NBA coverage.